Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and we're into, I don't even know what week of the offseason it is. It's after the divisional playoffs, before the conference championships. We get a little rusty at this. Only one episode a week. It doesn't feel right, Jeff. I'm kind of like, I feel off my game right now. I don't know about you.
I'm just enjoying the offseason right now.
It is kind of nice only having one to do instead of five to do every week, but we have a little bit of a break before we get into everything. I mean, this week, we haven't talked much about the playoffs, but last week was a little nuts. Minnesota, just crazy. That was just, I can't believe what happened there at the end of that game.
Of course, we do have a little something going on. We do have a playoff bracket where we drafted players, so if they lose, they're out of it. You don't get any more points for them. So, of course, immediately, that game was so crazy. Saints versus Vikings. They're going back and forth kicking field goals. So I immediately text Craig and I'm like, I'm looking great. Alvin Kamara is going to be, on my team next year, or on next week. He's going to win. There's like one play left. and possibly my favorite thing of this week is to watch all of the different GIFs and memes that are going on with that safety. And it might be the greatest thing to ever.
I think my favorite is him getting a Stone Cold Stunner.
So good.
That was my favorite one so far. I like that.
I
feel bad for him, though. I really do.
I knew as soon as it happened, I was like, he is going to be the GOAT forever.
Yeah.
I think my favorite comment yet, and it's not even that creative, but just every person who's ever played Madden understands it. And it's just like, hit stick too soon.
Pretty much. I actually was playing some Madden last night. I haven't played Madden in years. I decided I got an Xbox One. I played some Madden last night. Ooh, that was pretty bad. I had that happen to me a few times. First play, the guy scored like a 70-yard touchdown. So off like a little pass.
Always got to go for the big hit.
Oh, man, I feel bad. So you remember we drafted teams for the playoffs? Do you want to see the status of that?
Yes.
4 teams remaining. I drafted the Patriots.
Number 1 overall.
Let's see here. See if I don't have the rest. I just have the ones that are left. I drafted the Patriots. I drafted the Vikings. I drafted the Jaguars. You drafted Philly.
Ouch.
Yes. So you got Philly left. I would have to say out of the 4 teams, Philly's probably the lowest out of them. I think those 3 are better favorites than Philly.
I'll be honest. I would rather have Philly than the Jaguars, because Jaguars have to go against Pats.
But if they beat them, I feel like
that's true.
it's theirs.
The only team I'm looking at right now is the Patriots, though.
I think so. I think it's all them.
Okay, honestly, so who would you think has the second best chance of winning it all? Do you think it is the Jaguars?
I really do. I really do, just because I feel like I don't think the Vikings and Eagles are that. It's weird to say a team in conference championship I don't feel like are that good. I don't think they're that good. They're fine teams. Philly, I don't even honestly. If the Lions were in the playoffs, they could have made the Super Bowl. This is what bothers me. Lions are the only team in the league this year to beat Minnesota at Minnesota. That's it. Only the Lions did it.
Yeah, that's true.
God, Lions. Just
I think that might be a stretch, but I like where your head's at.
No, they would have won this next year. Yeah. Matt Patricia is going to lead them to victory.
I guess my question is, you have the Vikings, who have a terrific defense, or at least usually they have a terrific defense. We knew the Saints were going to be incredibly tough. We both picked them. We thought they were going to be here against Philly, I believe, or
we might have picked
Atlanta,
Rams. Even I don't even know how.
It might have been Rams. So it was all over the place. But I don't know. Do you think out of the 4 teams, you have Brady, right? And then you have Bortles, Keenum, and Foles. Are you kidding me?
That's ugly.
So you're not banking on any quarterback. What are you looking at these teams? Are you looking strictly defense? Or are you looking the run game?
I mean, okay, the NFL feels like it's changed again. I was thinking about this the other day. And I have to bring some. We'll talk about this in another episode because I have some stats which I don't have in front of me and take me forever to find them. But like passing numbers were way down this year. Overall, there's only it's just ridiculous how far they're down. It's like NFL's become a running the ball and defensive game again. And I think that's why Minnesota's good. Philly, they've run the ball with 18 different guys, I feel like, all the time. And then the Jaguars, it's running the ball and defense. That's what became good again. So, I don't know. That's the only reason those teams are in it. They have the Jaguars did give up 42 points, though. That's that amazing defense of theirs.
I mean, yeah, but it was
Okay,
the Steelers.
yeah.
I mean, Pittsburgh is crazy.
But it's weird how the NFL is just like a running the ball. It's like running again in defense. That's what wins you. I mean, that's always what has won games for since the beginning of time with football. But
you saw that too. A second-year quarterback in Goff brought his team to the playoffs as one of the top teams. Obviously, it did not work out for them, but that's all they did. Hand the ball off to Gurley, play stout defense.
that's why the
Vikings, exact same thing.
Lions need to draft a running back. They're getting a defensive coach. Okay, this isn't the Lions podcast, but it's the off season, man. What are you got to talk about?
It's true. He's hurting. He's hurting bad.
All right, so my picks for this week: Patriots, Vikings. That's who I think's going on. Vikings will be the first team ever to play in a Super Bowl at home. That's gonna be kind of crazy.
That'd be really, really cool.
Never happened before.
I don't know why I have this weird feeling of a hangover. I'm going Philly versus Patriots, and then Patriots just kill them in the Super Bowl.
I think either way, Patriots are winning this whole thing. So.
I do too.
All right, so what we're going to do for today's episode, since we haven't come out with rankings yet for next year, and we're not going to for a while, it's going to be probably March at the earliest, if even that. Because whatever rankings we come out with now, it's just going to be forgotten and no one's going to care because they're going to be so off. If any rankings done before free agency, what's the point?
But lucky for us,
Matthew Berry came out with his rankings.
yes. And everyone knows Matthew Berry, the lovely man from ESPN.
He doesn't maybe have the... Probably people listening to our podcast aren't probably the biggest Matthew Berry fans. A lot of people aren't as much anymore. They're kind of...
Yeah, I have no problem with
the
Matthew
guy's entertainment, and he's one of the first that was able to do this as a full-time thing.
Yeah, he's
So,
totally fine.
But, hey, he has some rankings out, so he's one of the people. There's actually a couple of them here I see. There's 6 different ESPN writers have rankings out. We can click their links. We might as well we'll take a look at a few, but Matthew Berry for sure. I'll just look at Matthew Berry's. We're just going to look at his ranks. Not really going to criticize them. We're just going to more analyze them and see what we think and see what somebody else is looking at and maybe maybe we're thinking, because I don't like criticizing other people's ranks very much. It's kind of like it's a hard thing to do. It's not easy. I mean, it's just it's not an easy practice, believe me.
It's always funny too because it comes down to I would rather have that guy up one spot.
Yeah, what's the point? It's like I get it. Maybe we'll see. I have not looked at these yet, so maybe there'll be something that really throws us off.
Yeah.
So,
but the big point about this is just to give a preview of next year, and at least because obviously whether you like them or not, and ESPN, they are a huge tastemaker. So this is going to drive where people actually believe that they're going to be ranked.
Yep.
And even if it is this early in before next year, will be on there, and people will look at this.
And these. Our PPR ranks, which we typically don't deal in very often, but hey, ESPN's trying to make PPR the standard. I'm against it, but I'm standard. I know I think more people are going PPR, but
a lot of people are.
I'm still not, if you go PPR, go half. Like, don't make it too crazy. Like, just.
I feel like we could have a debate on PPR
I think we will at some point. This is something
I'm going to have to get someone on the show to.
We're gonna have to talk about PPR, and we're gonna have to talk about why you need to be an auction drafter. Like, I have auction leagues. Like, again,
that shouldn't even be a debate anymore.
It is, though.
Absolutely,
it is. And believe me, it's still majority of people are snake drafts. And
right. Well, we have two more episodes of what we have to do in the offseason.
Yeah, so we'll do all that. Okay, quarterback ranks. Here are his quarterback rankings. He put Aaron Rodgers number 1, and I'm fully on board with that. And this is his top 5. It's Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson. I don't know if I'm going to have that, but I like Rodgers number 1, and I don't see anything wrong with Wilson number 2.
I actually have no problem with this.
I really don't.
5.
I kind of like this. I kind of, in a way, like the fact that Carson Wentz isn't being elevated to that level, like the number 2 or whatever. And I've seen him 1, because remember, he tore his ACL very recently. He might not be ready. So I think people are going to have to hold off on Carson Wentz. He's going to fall down because he might not be playing early on. So. But Deshaun Watson, number 5, I think, you know what? I don't know if I will have that for sure as my rank, put him up that high, but I think he's going to get drafted that way. Guarantee it. I feel like if there's one player out there, he'll get drafted higher than his rank like almost all the time. Guarantee it. It's going to keep happening for him. He'll get drafted ahead of his rank every time. But he's also coming off an ACL injury. Yeah. So,
and he was having a crazy good year before he got hurt as a rookie. You're still going to have Hopkins, you're going to have the speedster on the side. There's a lot of things to like there. So if he continues to do what he did last year, even at a lesser of a rate, he's going to be a top 10 quarterback. So once again, I have no problem with him. He's kind of an unproven commodity, but a whole lot of fun to have on your team. So
how about 41-year-old next year, Tom Brady, still top 3?
I have no issue with
I can't predict a downfall for him. It's a tough one. So I'm never we will be coming up. Well, I think next week we'll do top 5 fall off players who we think will fall off in 2018. I will never predict Brady for that list. I feel like it's too tough.
No, unless we found out his offensive line was going to be ravaged. There's no way I would do that.
The rest of his top 10 go Kirk Cousins, Cam Newton, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck, Jared Goff. Now, Kirk Cousins is interesting because we don't even know if he'll be in Washington. He going to be a free agent. We'll have free agent episodes, too, once we get to, right after the Super Bowl. But Kirk Cousins is an interesting one. I think the best spot for Kirk Cousins is to leave Washington, go to Denver. I think that would be the best.
Yeah, I think he would be smart to get
that or Arizona even. Arizona doesn't have the wide receivers, though. Denver has the defense. They still have 2 good wide receivers. They have solid running backs. I wouldn't say amazing, but solid. I think that's where he needs to go.
Yeah, I just think I think Washington is not the place you want to be if you're a quarterback or any type of player, really. I just don't have a whole lot of respect for that organization. Yep. Just because I feel like they really misuse their players. They mistreat them a little bit. And, go back to RG3, how they use him and, But, yeah, I don't know. Kirk Cousins, do you have an issue with him being at number 6? Just assume he will be at Washington, I guess.
I guess not. He ends up being around there. I don't think I would have him 6 if he's with Washington. I might with another team. Just because, I don't know. It just feels like he looks good at some places and then he's not, I guess, other times. Right. But originally we always thought he was going to the 49ers for sure.
I did too.
That's not happening obviously anymore since they got Garoppolo. Or actually a great landing spot for him would be Jacksonville. If they decide to if they move on from Bortles, which a lot of people think they might.
Yeah, that would be a crazy good place. You have a lot of good young wide receivers, a great run game, and a defense too, so you don't have to throw the ball. I don't know if that would help or hurt his statistical output for our sake. It might downgrade him for me a bit because you don't have to make as many throws. But for him as a quarterback, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, we could see Jacksonville. There's a lot of good spots out there. Yeah, Jacksonville, he would definitely be about 6 for me because I think I really like that spot. But I really hope he doesn't stay with Washington. I just do. I just hope he leaves for some reason. I don't know. And then you got Cam Newton, Drew Brees, the usual suspects up there. Cam Newton, 7. He finished higher than that this year.
He did, and I was the guy that said don't get him that high.
But okay, he finished that high.
He finished 5th.
But Aaron Rodgers hurt, Deshaun Watson hurt, Andrew Luck hurt, Carson Wentz still finished ahead of him, got hurt. But those 3 other guys all finished below him, and they were hurt. And Jimmy Garoppolo obviously didn't play a full year, so he could easily drop behind 4 guys.
True, but
from where he was.
Okay, so he finished 5th. So you're saying that he
more like I see him more around the 10th.
He would have been 8th, 9th.
Or let's see like this. He's 7th right now. He's ahead of Breeze, which I guess New Orleans has kind of turned into a running attack. So I get it.
Yeah, Breeze finished behind him this year, and they both played full seasons.
I
right?
think I would still draft Andrew Luck over Cam Newton next year if I know Andrew Luck's healthy going into the year. I think I'd go Luck.
I would too. And I realize why he's 9 though. He didn't play an entire year like he was supposed to.
What about another thing I don't agree with on this list, which I won't have, is Jared Goff. I wouldn't have him ahead of Ben Roethlisberger.
I lower down. I actually have no issue whatsoever with his top 10 for the most part. Jared Goff, kind of, but when we get from Jared Goff down, I would probably rearrange a lot of
Rivers. Rivers being overlooked again.
Yeah, once again, 16th.
Yeah.
I don't think he doesn't lose anyone. You finally get Keenan Allen to be where he needs to be. Hopefully Hunter Henry steps up. Mike Williams for a full year. I realize these are kind of the same points I made this year, but I think that there's leaps that you can make. And even with all of that said, he was 8th this year.
Yeah.
So he would be one that I would move up.
The rest is just fine for me, really.
Yeah, I would probably move Jimmy Garoppolo down. I know people are falling all over
the thing
themselves.
is, I kind of agree, but you know what? He's going to be drafted as a top 10 quarterback.
I know he is. But that was the only one. At 13, I looked at him and I was like, I'd move him down. But really, that's the only thing. Matthew Stafford at 14 Once again, he's going to be a bonus pick. So you don't have to get him as a starter even, and he's probably going to be a top 10 guy.
He's always in that same spot. He's like, I don't know. He should be fine. He's always going to be fine. I don't think he's ever going to really dominate for you. But how about running backs here? Remember, this is PPR. So I don't really think the rankings change like a lot with the top guys. Maybe some guys like Duke Johnson or so should move up because of that. But number 1, he puts Gurley. 2, Bell. 3, David Johnson. 4, Zeke. I get it. I mean, especially PPR, Johnson jumps ahead of Zeke probably because of all the catches. Zeke, out of those top 4 guys, Zeke probably does drop to 4 in a PPR standard or type setting. Probably makes sense. I have no problems with whatever order you put those 4 guys in, but I think those 4 guys are the top 4 every time. I don't have a problem in any order you have them in. I will probably put Gurley number 1, I think, next year. Maybe I go Bell. I don't know. I don't know yet.
In a PPR, it would be
Gurley is so dominant with catches this year too. Both Gurley and Bell and Johnson are all PPR. They dominate PPR.
Yeah,
Zeke's gonna be great too.
Yeah, I mean, really, any 4 of those guys, like you said, that's the way to go.
Then the next players here, like Hunt 5, Fournette 6, LaShawn McCoy 7, Alvin Kamara 8.
Okay, so I think you and me are both going to agree Kamara should be number 5 on this.
Probably.
Maybe.
Okay. The only thing I could see is I might go Fournette 5. I would, but Fournette's ankle injuries worry me. So that's the only thing that can hold Fournette back is the ankle injuries. So Kamara in a PPR setting probably should be 5.
I would think so.
I just like him better than Kareem Hunt. I don't.
He
honestly,
outranked all of these guys in standard leagues, right? Without the PPR advantage.
I'm going to be one of the people that's maybe a bit of, not a Kareem Hunt detractor necessarily, but I'm going to rank Hunt probably lower than a lot of people will next year. Because I will have Fournette ahead of Hunt. I'm almost sure of it. I'll have Kamara ahead of Hunt. I probably have Melvin Gordon ahead of Hunt. Melvin Gordon gets overlooked a lot.
Will you have, and I totally agree with you on Melvin Gordon, will you have McCoy?
McCoy probably drops below all those guys I just named.
I was going to say, is he out of your top 10 next year? Because,
you know what? I start to not like to take that risk on a 30-year-old running back anymore. I don't like the risk, especially when there's this many good options available, because it just screams DeMarco Murray of this year for me. You know, it's just that same thing. He's been good, but he has injury concerns too. He never he always seems to get hurt, but he comes right back. One of these times he's not going to come back. I think I don't know if he's going to be top 10. Let's see. Looking at this here. So for sure, I put Kamara ahead of him. I put Gordon ahead of him. So that puts him to 9 on this list. It's a tough one. The list falls off after that for me.
Not quite for me yet. I mean,
Freeman, I worry about Ingram. I do. I'm not sold.
Okay, I get the Ingram, but Freeman, what about him? Would he go above McCoy?
I think I'd feel more comfortable in Freeman.
Okay. What about Dalvin Cook?
No.
Just because of the injury?
Yeah, okay. And the fact that the injury is one part of it. But Minnesota it wouldn't shock me. Cook will be the lead back. But Latavius Murray and Jerick McKinnon are not going away next year. With how good they've done this year, they're not going away. So I could see a scenario where Latavius Murray gets a lot of goal line touchdowns, gets a lot of that work next year. Because he's done a pretty good job on it this year. So Cook is not going to have as much of a lead on the backfield as he did early on in this year, where Murray wasn't playing. Murray's been too good. Cook's obviously the lead back, but that's why I kind of worry about it. But then again, okay, if this was standard, we'd switch some stuff around. Like Jordan Howard, way down there at 16. He doesn't catch many passes, so PPR, I guess it makes sense. But even that,
I'd still probably move him up a little bit in this one, but I'm also a guy that believes in Howard. He was, once again, you're right. Standard, he was 10th overall.
Yep.
But yeah, without winning PPR, that would hurt him.
And then I'm not going to, it's going to fall off for me after about the first 8-9 guys this year. Maybe 10. You can go to 10. You can get to 10 with Freeman. After maybe 10 guys, I'm not as confident. But there's still some good players. I'm just not as confident. But Carlos Hyde, I think he should be good. Maybe if they finally have a good team around him, but I don't know. They don't seem to like to be in love with him. So that's my worry with him. Kenyon Drake, are you going to be comfortable with drafting him next year?
I mean, at a certain point in the draft, you're going to have
Certain
to be.
point, but this like top as your top end running back too.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked him, but I also, you didn't have to put your money where your mouth is early on, right?
But,
like he's the only guy in town, really. He's the one that's going to get the majority of the carries now, but he's a risky play. I know people love him right now, but we haven't really seen, a legitimate back out of him in the form of, can you do this over a prolonged amount of time?
Yep.
We saw a couple games where he was freaking phenomenal, but you're also on a Miami team who is going to have a different quarterback. Has been up and down like crazy past couple of seasons. So who knows what version of that we're going to get.
So I'll say out of this, even if it's PPR standard, I don't care. I'm Howard. I would draft ahead of Drake, obviously. I think you agree with Howard over Drake. Even in PPR, I think I would probably do the same.
Yeah.
I wouldn't draft Alex Collins is too high for me. I am not going to be a believer in Alex Collins next year. I'm just not. But I would draft Mixon ahead of Drake, and I would draft Ajayi ahead of Drake, because I just think Ajayi is going to do something next year. If a lot of it's going to depend on is LeGarrette Blount gone or not. That's a big thing. If LeGarrette Blount's gone, Ajayi skyrockets for me.
I agree. Once again, I think with that team and how they play offense, they like to use multiple backs. So I think there is kind of a ceiling for him.
That's why
I still do like him better than he'd be right there with Drake for me, I guess. I'm kind of a fan of Drake, but at the same time, he's, like I said, risky.
I agree. He's risky, but I don't know. I'm big. I guess I'm just a big Ajayi guy.
All right. I have to jump down. This is one of the guys that people are going to talk about a ton, and I totally understand why. I've been trying to buy his lottery ticket waiting for him to play. Derrick Henry comes in at number 24, and the 5 guys before him, just to put in perspective, Lamar Miller, C.J. Anderson, Duke Johnson, and Bilal Powell.
Yep. This is definitely what Barry's doing here, is he's just ranking it if DeMarco's around. I feel like, even though he still ranks DeMarco, I feel like he's ranking it as DeMarco's there.
He has Murray at 32.
So if DeMarco's not around, Henry will jump.
I think DeMarco will be around, though. I think you keep that stable of backs, because you see what happens. One gets hurt, you still have the other.
Yep.
It makes more sense for him.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised at the Bilal Powell.
I'm not going to have Powell. I can't even say his last name anymore. Powell's not going to be ahead of him. Even in PPR, I will not draft Duke Johnson ahead of him. I know Duke Johnson was like the 12th running back in PPR this year. I will not draft Duke Johnson ahead of him in PPR, especially if the situation is cleared up. I don't think it doesn't even matter if the situation is cleared up. I'm not drafting Duke Johnson ahead of him. I don't care how good he did. I'm just not doing it. I can't do it. C.J. Anderson, I think I'm done with C.J. Anderson after this year. He's just too up and down.
What if they get Kirk Cousins? So
I'm not going to be okay with it, because Devontae Booker, I think, is just too much there. They think there's something with him.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much.
I don't think there is. But in Lamar Miller, I'm just going to avoid Lamar Miller next year, like all the way. Because Foreman, I think, will be back, and will definitely, the way he started to play there, I think he's going to
take a larger load.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm just.
And trusty Frank Gore, 31, which isn't that crazy. I mean, really, we had him ranked. Actually, where did we have him ranked this year? I'm trying to think, but
around 20th or so.
It's interesting to see how far these older backs fall. Right now, not that much, really.
I can already tell my guy next year, who's going to be I'll probably be like my sleeper running back pick, is Dion Lewis. I'm going to be a big Dion Lewis guy, just the way I feel like I think him and Burkhead are both going to do well next year, but I think it's going to be only those two. And Lewis, I'm just really liking the way they're using him. So I actually think both of them, Burkhead and Lewis, could both be definitely usable next year and drafted. You could draft him if you get Lewis as your third running back, I think you're going to be in great shape. I'm going to be a Lewis guy next year. He just keeps putting up points, especially in PPR thing. I think he's going to be great. And then after that, you can tell the guys on this list are just kind of, he's not expecting Isaiah Crowell to maybe even be back with Cleveland, but he ranked him 37th. That's kind of a not expect him to do anything at all. I don't know if he'll be back or not, but.
Yeah, it's very painful when Crowell is ranked below Peyton Barber and Wayne Gallman.
And Peyton Barber's the highest rank. There's no Doug Martin, so
yeah.
What's going to happen with Doug Martin? He's just kind of, maybe he's done.
It could be a lot of turnover in the NFL this year.
Wide receivers, how about this? Brown, Hopkins, Beckham, get it. It's all good. Now, Michael Thomas, number 4.
I'm actually on this bandwagon
I think
now.
I think so.
I was not for this year,
yep.
And I think and this is when people were going crazy and ranking him number 1 because he was so crazy good when he was a rookie. And we said, whoa, slow down. But number 4 now, especially what he's been able to do,
I think I get it.
I'd be okay with that.
I think that's about right because you know what? I probably do feel more confident in Michael Thomas right now than I would in AJ Green or like Julio Jones. I almost do because they're obviously they are great wide receivers, but they're a bit up and down. Julio doesn't catch touchdowns for some reason. Did you see the stat? I don't know if you saw that stat.
He doesn't like him.
Did you see the stat that he has 18 red zone targets this year? 18 red zone targets. You know how many he caught? 1.
I don't doubt it.
That's...
Well, we said this going into it, too. I mean, this is not a new thing.
No, it's... So I can see that. But, okay, then Keenan Allen's there at 6. I'm okay with Keenan Allen at 6. He's definitely... Jeff was the big Keenan Allen guy. And he proved you right. After it looked like he wasn't going to for a bit there.
Yeah, okay. There was a few weeks where I was kind of sweating it out for sure.
And then Adam Thielen.
Wow, number 7. Yeah. I still think that's a little high for me.
I think that's way too high. I like Adam Thielen a lot, but I don't like him when he starts to be ahead of Julio Jones.
Yeah, ahead of Julio. And I understand Mike Evans had a rough one, but ahead of Julio, ahead of Mike Evans, ahead of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. I can see him. I see Thielen more being toward around the.
I see him 10,
11,
maybe. 12,
that range right there. Because you know what? Honestly, I want Devontae Adams over Adam Thielen. I will go down to that point. I probably want Adams ahead of Doug Baldwin, though.
Yeah, I'm loving me some Adams.
Adams with Rodgers, I like that.
Especially if he could turn out to be the number 1 guy there.
Exactly. So, I get it if you want Thielen over Mike Evans because safety. There's a lot more safety in Thielen. I get that, but I'm going to definitely. I think Devontae Adams. Looking at this, I think Devontae Adams is going to be a guy who sneaks into my top 10.
Yeah, I was going to say I see and this is it's very very difficult to rank wide receivers. So I'm not over analyzing this one, but if you're looking at the list, or if you can. I see a lot of places where you can grab value already.
Oh yeah,
and this is not anything too crazy. I don't see a whole lot of changes that people will make right off the bat. But I see T.Y. Hilton sitting there at 15. If he has luck back,
yep,
he's one of those guys, and you're not gonna inch him up too much. Why would you over proven guys, right? That did it last year, could easily be better than him again. I don't know. Larry Fitz at 16. He's a guy that we just were joking about. Do you think he's done? He's an older wide receiver that is going to not have Palmer. Do you think, and what did he end up, I think, 10th overall this year?
Yeah, it's going to all depend on who that quarterback ends up being. If it's a veteran, if it's a good veteran, what if it's Alex Smith?
True.
Somebody like that. Maybe Alex Smith goes to Denver. Maybe Kirk Cousins go to Arizona. Okay. There's options. It's going to depend on which quarterback. And I think Arizona's not going to... I feel like they're not going to play around and get a rookie in there to start. I feel like they're going to get a veteran.
Yeah. If they get Alex Smith, Fitzgerald is going to be a pickup for me. Yeah. That is perfect mid-range guy for him. Larry Fitzgerald was 9th right now with, a crazy amount of quarterbacks and a very aging Palmer who was kind of hobbled all year. Yeah. Smith would be a great fit.
What about Demaryius Thomas at 24? If they get Alex Smith at quarterback, or if it's a Kirk Cousins at quarterback,
if they get any other quarterback, yes, I will love that guy. He's still a beast. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
I can tell right now, I will not be drafting Devin Funchess next year. If this is about where he falls, I get it. I understand why he's there, but I still would not draft Devin Funchess over Dez Bryant.
Yeah. And he's ranked at 18.
I don't like it.
Yeah, so
I'm not drafting Devin Funchess over Stephon Diggs. I'm not. This isn't like, oh, Stephon Diggs caught a big touchdown pass, and that's why. No, Stephon Diggs, I think, has some great potential yet, and I just feel like if he can stay healthy, it's always he gets hurt, and it's like the rest of the season's kind of a downfall after that. If I think if the guy's healthy and he has one quarterback all year, I think he's going to be great, and he could be a steal at 26.
Yeah, I do too. And what do you think about this? I realize it's PPR, and I'm kind of going back to standard leagues just because I know where they were ranked. But Brandon Cooks in standard was 7th.
Yep.
In these, he will still have Tom Brady, assuming. And in these ranks, he is 25th.
I can see more like 15th, maybe 15 to 20 range for PPR, but I don't think he should be 25th.
Same thing with Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones, yeah. Like, I know PPR, these guys drop a little bit, but it's really not like Des Bryant's racking up the catches, or Chris Hogan doesn't even. He just catches big touchdowns.
Marvin Jones was 5th overall, and he's ranked 27th. So this is where, and I can understand that. He was a very up and down player his first year. He came out, he did very, very well. So these are the guys that are going to be just all over the board at first, trying to figure out where they should kind of fit in. And a guy that I really want to talk about, or at least get your opinion on, coming back from injury, Allen Robinson, 29th. I actually don't mind him here, only because who the hell knows?
Well, he might not even be with Jacksonville, so he's a free agent. So, I mean, he could be. I mean, if he's with Jacksonville and they get a quarterback not named Blake Bortles, he jumps up for me. So, I will definitely. I mean, I can tell right here, I'm going to draft Allen Robinson over Kelvin Benjamin. I'm not on the Kelvin Benjamin bandwagon next year. He could be fine, but I don't want to take that risk on this level. He's going to have to go lower. But Robinson could be good, depending on if he stays there, where he ends up, and who his quarterback is. One guy, too, that I think is going to have some great value, Amari Cooper. I hope he stays down in this kind of level. I will snatch Amari Cooper up every single draft if I get him as my 4th or 3rd. If I get him as my 3rd or 4th wide receiver, I will draft Amari Cooper all day long.
Yeah, I would too.
100%.
There's no risk in it. Would you draft him as your number 2, though?
You know what? Maybe.
Yeah. It's so crazy to think. I mean, he's 35th, but he really was that bad this year.
He was. Yes, he was. I could see myself snatching up. I pulled up another rank here, okay? This is off one of the other guys who did standard ranks. He ranked Cooper 24th. So, in standard, he put Cooper 24th, but I will take Cooper at that level, too. All day long. You know, I'm looking at the standard here. These don't change the ranks very much. Brandon Cooks just jumped to 14th. So, yeah, I'm going Amari Cooper. I'm going to have him on a lot of teams. I'm excited about that one. Now I have to fight other people for him, maybe, but I really like. I'm trying to look at Josh Doxson, 37th, ahead of Juju Smith-Schuster. Would you draft Doxson ahead of Juju Smith-Schuster? I don't think I would.
No, I wouldn't. I like Doxson. I guess it all depends on what happens with their quarterback, but I mean, I like Sterling Shepard at 40th too. I actually do. I know Odell is going to be back, but
I definitely think Corey Davis, Mike Williams, John Ross. One, if not two of those guys are going to do something next year for sure. Okay. I think for sure one of them was going to be Corey Davis. Do you see that one-handed touchdown catch he had of the Patriots? That guy can play.
Yeah, well,
he can play.
And I don't want to get overly, but Ken Mariota.
Maybe. I mean, he's going to have a new coach. They decided second round of playoffs aren't good enough, which I'm actually very impressed with that. Malarkey wasn't a good coach. He needs somebody they need somebody that can get there and use Mariota's skill set right and get the ball to Corey Davis because he's a 5th pick in the draft. You got to use the guy.
Yeah, he's great.
I think I'm going to be stocking up on Corey Davis too next year.
Yeah, talk about another team that has a ton of underrated offensive pieces that just. I realize they made it quite far, but at the same time, you have to think that they didn't make it look easy. Like I feel like they kind of not luck, but they really overachieved by the way they played.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say, am I alone on this one?
No.
I feel like their passing game wasn't anywhere where they needed to be. DeMarco Murray was kind of a non-factor for a while. Mariota never really got it together.
It's weird how they were to me, a complete disappointment, and yet made it to the second round of playoffs.
Yeah,
100% disappointment for me. At least how their offense looked. So
100%.
they should be better than that. I think Mariota's a lot better than that. I think they need somebody who's going to do it, who's actually going to use him right. And it sounds like the reason they did get rid of Malarkey was due to the fact that he would not change offensive coordinators. He refused. And they decided to get rid of him because I think you need somebody who's going to use Mariota right and use that offense right. So. All right, tight ends. I'm not going to go over this very much. It's just Gronk, Kelsey, Ertz. Yep, that's my top 3 next year. I think that's how I'm going to rank it. Evan Ingram 4, Hunter Henry 5.
My man.
I think that's this is very close to how I will have it. Greg Olsen 6. Yeah, I can see all of this. That's that's probably my top 6. Delaney Walker, not my 7th. No. Sorry.
Well, I would do Jimmy Graham, but once again,
he's a free agent too. So
that's true. But that's only one spot flip-flopping, so I'm not going to give him any credit.
Jordan Reed 9. No, maybe 19th for me. I'm just done. I'm done. I will not draft Jordan. I don't think I draft Jordan Reed. Maybe, I guess, do you as a last pick if that's your tight end?
I guess it depends on what I hear about him. If he's completely healthy going into the season, then I guess I grab him at way back and be like, I'm going to play you the first couple weeks.
I can kind of think my guy next year is going to be my nice sleeper. It's not a sleeper. It's bounce back. Tyler Eifert. He's going to be overlooked. And he has a bunch of talent. We've always thought he did. We'll see. I like him. Especially if you can get him for nothing. So you can get like Eifert and Reed, 2 injury-prone tight ends who have all the talent in the world, though. And maybe one of them does something. Nothing else really stands out. I mean, you could see a breakout from O.J. Howard. You could see a breakout from Njoku.
Well, that's actually what I was kind of surprised at.
Howard.
Cameron Bray was 15th, which I don't really have a problem with, but O.J. Howard's not on the top 20
Don't agree with that. I think they'll switch around. O.J. Howard's going to be used a lot more, I think.
I think so, too.
So, I mean, yeah. That's actually kind of funny. I thought of something earlier. I pulled up the 2013 Alabama roster, college.
Oh, God.
It's kind of ridiculous. I'm looking at this. They're just the team. Like, before you get to the running backs, they had Amari Cooper on their team. They had O.J. Howard on there, so. Mm-hmm. They have their leading rusher for the year was T.J. Yeldon. Their number 2 rusher for the year was Kenyon Drake. Their number 3 rusher for the year was Derrick Henry, and the guy who didn't even see the field once was Alvin Kamara.
Before Kamara got kicked off the team.
So Kamara, Derrick Henry, Kenyon Drake, T.J. Yeldon. They had Amari Cooper out there. They had O.J. Howard. Yeah.
You want to know how you win a national title this many times in a row?
Yeah, that's.
You have your defense go against top 4 NFL guys.
I mean, isn't that just ridiculous? Like,
the amount of Alabama players that are in the NFL right now has to be staggering. That has to be something we can look up real quick.
I just found that very interesting. Just how the year before that, they had Eddie Lacy, T.J. Yeldon, Kenyon Drake. Like, the running backs this team has had, and they still had Amari Cooper, obviously. The running backs this team has had, it just like, I hate Alabama, but it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Just how do they do this? They just get so many players. Derrick Henry, Kenyon Drake, man, just Calvin Ridley is going to be a good player now, wide receiver for him. You know what's weird? I was thinking about this too. I was going a little random. It's like I hate Alabama, right? I hate the team that wins every championship. Like I hate the Yankees, I hate the Golden State Warriors now. I hate all these teams. I hate Duke basketball. I like the Patriots. What's wrong with it?
Well, I think, to be honest, it's weird to say, but I believe that Deflategate actually reignited. Like, I totally lost all hatred for him.
I like him.
Yeah, I do too. No. And also because I name their, besides for Tom Brady and Gronk.
They're no names.
Yeah, they kind of make it work with whoever. I think it's kind of like the Spurs to me, where it is a system.
See, I love the Spurs.
Yeah, and you plug people in, and it works because of the system.
The majority of the people hate New England. I just don't. I don't hate them.
I understand why, right? I mean, they're not that far off of being like a.
Well, I guess I understand why, but I don't have as I have the hate. I have the hatred for every other sport, like every other team like that. Like the Yankees haven't won a championship in forever. I still hate them.
Oh my god!
Like. I don't know why. I don't hate the Patriots. It's the weirdest thing.
No, I don't either. And also, I do not hate Golden State.
I do. I hate them because I hate Kevin Durant.
Why do you hate Kevin Durant?
Because he couldn't win, so he has to go join the best team. He's a moron. I hate the guy.
He's soft. Do you like Cavaliers?
Yeah.
You just named LeBron James.
No, LeBron James is.
He left because he couldn't win.
Oh, come on.
What do you mean, come on?
He did at first, and then he made up for his mistakes. I hated him. I hated him.
So
I hated the Miami Heat.
So if
I hated them.
If Kevin Durant goes back to OKC,
Then I like him.
and then you like him.
Okay, I hated Miami Heat.
The
LeBron
worst
James
type of fan.
No, I hated Miami Heat. LeBron James hated him.
Okay,
hated him.
I get that.
I like him in Cleveland, and I like Golden State's first championship. I hate Kevin Durant. Golden State.
Durant. So if they didn't have Durant, you could cheer for their.
But I wanted the Cavs to beat them even the year they didn't have Durant. That year the Cavs won the title.
You wanted to see LeBron win.
I wanted LeBron to win.
I have a hard time rooting for LeBron, even though I know he is one of the greatest of all time. I have nothing against LeBron.
I used to hate the guy.
It's kind of like the Yankees for me. It's very easy to cheer against him.
I used to hate LeBron so much. This is a weird podcast.
Yeah,
I used to hate LeBron so terribly much, and now I don't. I like the guy. I like LeBron.
Yeah,
second greatest player of all time. I'll just say second because he doesn't have the accomplishments. He could be better than Jordan, though, as a player. I will never say he's better or he's greater, but he could be.
Do you mean like he could be as in...
He might be physically, like talent-wise. He could be. It's hard to say.
That's actually a very good point. We're going off the rails on this one, but...
It's the end of the podcast. Yeah. I don't know if anyone's listening.
And just to fill in, I just looked it up too. 39 former Alabama players are on active rosters right now. So there's more Alabama players than there are teams.
How about that Michigan State game Saturday? That was awesome.
Yeah, that one hurt, man.
It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, that was brutal. But whatever. Actually, I'll give you this. I'm not a Michigan fan. I went to MSU. But Michigan has been playing some good basketball. I got to watch them. I mean, it was brutal to watch MSU. I think
State's soft, man.
Dude, they have been playing
soft.
They will be very good when it comes to playoff time. I agree with you. I think Bridges has to. Bridges earn it, man.
Wagner just ripped him up. Did you see? Have you seen the highlight of him going behind the? Have you seen that one just breaking Nick Ward's ankles?
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Nick Ward. Come on.
It was amazing.
Yeah, But I'll tell you, MSU is going to be a Final Four team.
No, God, no.
Oh, yeah.
They're too soft.
Dude, they're going to be
They
very
suck.
good.
They're soft. They're soft. Tom Izzo's a crybaby.
So, as you can see, Craig is an MSU fan as well.
LeBron James isn't a crybaby, though.
He's kind of made up for it.
I like him.
Early in his career, he was. He had those a few appearances, and he was a young guy. But there was a few times where he actually left and pretty much let Wade handle the game, and I don't know. It was really, really early stuff. He totally made up for it. He's phenomenal. I would probably agree with you, and I would probably say he's the second best player ever to play the game.
Yeah, for sure. At worst, he could be number one.
I don't think so. I think at that point you have to go by
6 titles. But he's been to more championships. He's been to more finals.
Not even titles, but I think that Jordan, watching him, everything went through him. I know it's the same thing for LeBron, but I think Jordan was more important to those teams, and I think he was just more dominant of a player than LeBron. Could literally take it to the hoop anytime he wanted. He could literally do anything he wants. He could play point guard. He could play post. He's a freak of nature. But just from watching him, and that's not a diss against LeBron, obviously. I think most people would say Michael Jordan's the best player, and I tend to agree with them.
It's crazy how long he's been so good. Like, he's been so ridiculously good that he knocked the Pistons out of going to the finals. Like,
that was over a decade ago.
Yeah, like he scored 25 straight points or whatever.
It was stupid.
In that game and beat the Pistons. And when oh my God, the Pistons, man, they used to be so good. At least we got one championship. This is another thing I was thinking.
We should have were you just trying to open up scabs?
Oh man,
we should have had 2. We should have beat the Spurs.
The Spurs. They were up heading into that fourth quarter.
Right.
2005.
No one's gonna know what we're talking about now.
2005 NBA Finals, Game 7. Pistons up heading into the fourth, and they just
blew it.
They blew it.
Choked.
They shouldn't even been that point. I think early in the series they let Rob Horry hit a.
They should have won the game before.
Was that the Horry?
Yeah.
Oh God.
And Horry, where does he rank up there? Big shot
Bob.
Dude, he has been a killer.
Man, I feel like I watched more NBA back then.
Oh, 100%. I really don't watch that much anymore.
Even though people say it's better now, and it's so. I try to get into it once in a while, and I'm having a hard time until the playoff time. I watch the playoffs.
Playoffs is pretty fun.
Except last night, did you hear Chris Paul tried to break into the Clippers locker room and beat up Austin Rivers or something ridiculous?
No, is that true?
I guess so.
What?
Yeah, the Clippers played the Rockets last night, so there's bad blood between the Clippers and Chris Paul, obviously, after he left them, and he almost got in a fight with Blake Griffin on the court. That was fun, and then apparently he tried to get in the locker room after the game. Him and a couple other guys through a back tunnel that he knew about because he had played there forever.
Dude, it doesn't get more. Well, no, it does get more bizarre than that. Why not? We'll just throw it out. Do you remember when Gilbert Arenas
had a freaking gun in the locker room?
Yeah, that's how crazy the NBA used to be.
Who was that?
This is as crazy as it gets now, but it used to be real weird.
Like, yeah, man. Back in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
like 2000s. Yeah, and it was okay. The guy who the gun situation was with was Javaris Crittenton. Javaris Crittenton, I believe, he's in jail currently. He's a convicted murderer now. This is no joke. The dude in the guy who Arenas brought the gun, like whatever that was, he is a convicted murderer. Yeah, that's what he is. He murdered somebody in 2011. So maybe Arenas shouldn't have been messing with the guy.
You heard it here first again, 7 years later.
Yeah, so.
But anyway,
and drug charges, too.
Totally off topic.
23 years is what it is. He only gets 23 years? What? Voluntary manslaughter? Guy had a good lawyer.
Gilbert Arenas money, man.
You murder somebody and it's voluntary manslaughter, not first-degree murder. How's that work?
I don't know.
This is a weird podcast, so I think we're going to wrap it up here. We'll be back next week. We're going to do top 5 fall-off players. 5 players we think are going to fall off in 2018. Tom Brady will not be one of them, despite being 41 years old. Unless something happens this weekend. Where he gets hurt or something, or he goes like 10 for 40. Like, ooh, it hit. But he could just be Peyton Manning next year. Peyton Manning's final season. That can always happen to anybody, I guess. So we'll go over that. We'll talk about the games that happen. See if the Patriots win. We'll talk to you guys next week.